What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Crown. Today, you're going to hear from another young man that has a lot of good things going on in his life. He had a lot of good things to say, a lot of things to get you motivated and inspired to continue to grow your faith and believe in yourself. Without further ado, let's get into the episode.
808.
My name is Demarieh Wesley. I'm currently a grad student at SMU University through the Cox School of Business, getting my MSM, that's Master of Science in Management, where I also am a grad assistant with the football team and football operations. The main sport I played was lacrosse. I picked it up around seventh grade, played all the way through college, but growing up, played football my whole life, born and raised Texas kid, so pretty much as I can remember, was around football, played football until I went to college. Ran track, but I definitely say my main two definitely were lacrosse and football. And I would say beyond the sport, I'm a real kind of, self-driven guy. I think, outside of sports, I think that's a part of me. I think that made me cultivate a lot of relationships with, not family, close friends, and coaches as well, where I got to build those relationships. But outside of that, real family guy. I have in a total 4 siblings. Two older ones, older brother, older sister, and I have a younger sister and a little brother. He's 5 years old. So I'm really big on family. And, I think I'm my every kind of like the average, maybe 20-year-old. I like hanging out with my friends, like building relationships, having a good time. I'm really in like, fashion, different shoes and things like that. But I think kind of like a big goal in my life is definitely giving back to the people that poured into me. So I had a lot of people pouring into me and definitely helped me get to where I'm in today. So definitely a big thing of mine is definitely giving back to the younger generation and, letting them know that there's other avenues outside of what they mainly see. And just because you don't have to be a product of your environment to basically achieve the goals that you want in life.
That's big, man. And shouts out to you for going back and getting your master's. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
I know that's exciting. Is this your first year?
Yeah, so I officially start in August. I think we probably one of the questions, but did my undergrad at Hampton University where I got my degree in
Okay.
sports management. And I ended up having a internship through the NBA HBCU fellowship through the Chicago Bulls as a season ticket service associate. And after that was over, I came back home and kind of readjust to see if, I was going to go to grad school right away or try to get some more experience. And my dad's actually on staff here at SMU with the football team. And we tried to work out some kinks, but just found out that we were going to have to just wait a little bit. So I always go back to, I remember the chair of my department was like, man, I think I can really see you in sales when I was in Hampton. So that's kind of like everybody says like a big gateway to get your foot in the door with sports. So, I had a couple interview with the Hawks, an interview with the Grizzlies, and I ended up taking my official job offer with the New Jersey Devils, the professional hockey team out in New Jersey. Pretty much one of the premier NHL programs. And then I believe around May of 2025, our overall parent company is HBSE. So I was working out of the Philadelphia 76ers office. And we used to travel up to Newark for basically games and different like trainings. And they basically told us we're going to dissolve that South office. So they gave us two options. You can stay with the team, but still have to commit to 4 days in the office, 1 day out, or you can stay with the Sixers. And basically the only thing with changing was the product you're selling. And I believe out of the 6 of us that were left, 5 of us decided to switch over to the Sixers and 1 left. And a good reason I stayed was because my lease was in Philadelphia because the commute was 15 minutes to Camden, New Jersey. I'm like, well, I got this lease signed for a year. I'm not from here. So, I'm going to just go ahead and stick it out. But definitely enjoy my time with the Sixers. Once I made the switch, enjoyed all my time with the New Jersey Devils as well.
Man, that's cool, man. It sounds like you're getting a lot of great experience, especially at a young age. So, man, shout out to you again, man. You kind of touched on it a little bit, saying that you want to give back to your community and things like that. But what type of legacy do you hope to leave behind?
I really just hope that I'm remembered as somebody that, put their best foot forward, everything that he did, that he gave 110% effort and, in a sense, considered like a leader of his group. If that's a leader of my young generation, that's a leader. If I'm a leader, even in this small group that I'm in right now at SMU, I think that's something I want to be remembered as, and just somebody that just gave back and, didn't forget where he came from and just wanted to continue to grow the youth in the community and just exposing the different opportunities outside of the things they might see on a typical day-to-day, on things that, maybe they grew up around, and let them know that, you can expand your horizon outside of, Dallas, Texas, or, the area like myself. I grew up in the inner city, Pleasant Grove, and you can grow outside of Pleasant Grove, but still come back and not forget where you came from.
That's good, man. And seeing somebody like you who's actually doing it, that gives them kind of the blueprint of what can happen. When did your relationship with Christ become personal?
So I grew up in the church definitely throughout my whole life. I remember like around maybe when I was like 10, 11, because I used to get up early because my grandma used to take us to school. And I got tired of just like getting up super early. I'm like, I told my mom, like, can I stay with my grandparents? And, you with your grandparents, you're growing up in church, you're going to Wednesday Bible church, you're going to Sunday morning, you out there throughout the whole day. So I can definitely say that's when I definitely gained more of a, deeper level of Christ at a young age, ended up getting baptized real early. I can definitely say, as you go out through life and especially college, I wouldn't say that I lost my faith, but definitely, in a sense, you can kind of put that on the back burner. I was a Division I athlete, ended up joining a fraternity where, you can definitely make other things a priority as well. So I kind of made it a mission of mine of once I graduated to definitely get back into my faith stronger. If that's, when I was in Chicago, I'm watching church on Sundays online. When I end up coming back home, trying to stay consistent, going my back home church. And even in Philadelphia, one of my line brothers who stayed across the street, he was out there a little bit longer than me. And, just reaching out to him, like he's already going to church, trying to get back good in his faith as well. He ended up going through a church in Delaware and going through his whole ordeal and getting baptized again there, and just being open to continue to grow my faith as well as an adult. Cause I feel, so at a young age, you can get like a perspective. And I think as you get older, it's definitely where you need to truly start to understand a little bit more of what, the things that God's trying to tell you that you might not see at a younger age.
Definitely, man. And shouts out to the grandmas, man. My story is similar. My grandpa made sure that I was with them on Sundays. But that's good. You touched on a lot of stuff, man. It's easy to get distracted. Once you go off to college and things like that, there's a lot of distractions, a lot of things that can take you off that course. But I'm glad to see that, you were able to still kind of maintain that relationship with God and keep your faith strong, even in the midst of all of that. I did see you join the fraternity, man. I get it, man. We all make mistakes. It's all right. I'm playing with you, man. I'm playing with you, man. But what does it mean to be crowned by God rather than the world?
I think that what that means to me is where you're looked at like a higher power. I feel like a lot of people nowadays, especially my generation, can get caught up in what the world sees them as and kind of get caught up in, the social media hype and what looks good, what's hot right now. And I think when you're crowned by God, it really just shows that he put you here and gave you a plan, and he already knows what he has in store with you. Is just more so if you're going to be the one to take heed to what he's saying, to take his plan and take those necessary steps, even when it gets hard. So definitely when I hear, being crowned by God, is that you were chosen to be his servant and to be able to spread his word. And also, throughout multiple things that you're doing, if that's, like I said, if it's a coach, your career, just knowing that, he has a plan for you in place. And if he's one that appointed you to be crowned, that you need to take that and continue to strive forward.
To go off that, how would you, what advice would you give to maybe a young athlete or a young professional trying to understand what God's plan looks like for them? Because it can get difficult when you have your own plans and they're not going the way that you're wanting, but God has already told you that's not your plan. So what advice would you give them to understanding that?
So I kind of have like a story that kind of happened recently. So when I was with inside sales for New Jersey Devils, it was a good position. I was doing well. Sales is definitely a real up and down business. So you can have good days and bad days. And, I think it got to a point maybe like 5, 6, 7 months in. I'm like, man, I don't really know if this is for me, if sales is, the right move. And then, after having some conversations with some people on the New Jersey Devils side, we may just switch over to the Sixers. They say, I think this will be a good, kind of fresh start for you to see if this is something that you still want to do. And I appreciate all my managers, because everybody through the New Jersey Devils and the Sixers, the leadership was very transparent on, we understand sales isn't for everybody. So, if this isn't something long-term for you, like, let's discuss and help you. And I remember kind of close to my lease was ending, I ended up having one of my one-on-ones with my manager. I'm like, hey, I don't think that I want to, pursue sales any longer. I'm thinking about, potentially moving back home and starting grad school. And I remember my manager, she was like, have I ever thought about being an athletic director? I'm like, no, I haven't. And I just kind of put some more, thought into it. And I ended up meeting another Hampton alum who was a professor at Temple. And she ended up kind of told the same thing. She's like, yeah, I think you'll be good at it. But, you have to go back and get your master's. And I was kind of already thinking about that. I'm like, maybe that's, a sign telling me like it's okay to move back home. And then when I moved back home, I decided I knew that I was going to be going to SMU. Was just, am I starting in the spring of 2025? I was going to be starting like this year of August in the fall and of 2026. And then when I found out that I was starting in the fall, I was kind of like down. I'm like, man, like I could have stayed. I could have keep making money. Could have been down there with my friends. Could have renewed the lease. Like, man, why do I, why didn't I just stay? And why couldn't I just find this out sooner? And then, I saw it as maybe just a sign from God that I just needed to slow down because I was gone at school for technically 3 years because my freshman year was COVID. Came home for a couple months, moved to Chicago for a summer, came back for a couple months, moved right back to Philadelphia once I got that job. So I was like, maybe this is a sign. And from him saying like, be patient. Everything will plan out for a reason. Just calm down. I think when I took that approach, like everything kind of shifted was crazy. I think that's when I got the letter. I was accepted to the school. I think I got a call back that I got accepted to work at front desk at Cowboys Fit. I got some more hours at my internship to get some money in my pocket. And once I got accepted to the school, I got more hours to come up to SMU to start getting my feet wet with the team, the players, and the staff to actually get ready for the season. And I kind of helped through all spring ball. So I think when I took that approach and just kind of let him guide me through my life in this time of just being patient and waiting for everything to go, like so many things hit me. Got the opportunity to coach with Bishop Lynch, their high school program for defense. And I came in with 4 games left in the season. We ended up making it to the state title game, which I thought was like a pretty cool experience. So I think that was definitely one most recent like story where I was like, wow, like maybe like I just need to listen more, like, instead of I just need to sit down, listen to him more and follow his will and everything play how it needs to be.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Once you tap into that and kind of lock into his plan, they're a little bit smoother. And you touched on a big important part that I've noticed just through your journey is you have a lot of people who support you and pour into you, which is really big, especially in the field of athletics, as it can get a little bit challenging. And everybody's competitive, so it's good to have those people that can back you and want to see you win. What is one lesson God taught you through athletics?
I would definitely say that you don't have all the answers, and that's fine. I always took that as if I don't know, I'm doing something wrong. But I think one thing I learned is where, just because you're not playing for the team doesn't mean you're not on the team in that aspect. And I definitely saw that, in sales. And they definitely say it's more so like a team aspect. And they like a lot of people in that space who are athletes because they have like that competitive nature. And I wouldn't say it was a bad competition between me and my coworkers, but it's more so where, you see on the leaderboard where, the person at the top is making the most and you can see you at the bottom. Yeah. So it's like one of those things where are you going to take that and be envious by somebody or, kind of take stride with that and continue to push forward. And I think some people, are kind of asking me, especially with the instance with, LeBron going to Philly, like I automatically knew like, wow, all of my former coworkers are about to making so much money right now. People are like, do I regret leaving? I'm like, no, I'm happy for those people because I understood the times where we're getting on a phone call and saying, call me when y'all get rid of GM, call me back when y'all get rid of Paul George. So I remember some of those hard times of, man, I'm been trusting the process for so long. I don't know if I can do it anymore. So, seeing the Sixers get Jaylen Brown, LeBron, like I already knew how good that was going to be for them. And, that's the path that I believe that they were meant to be on and they're thriving there. And I'm meant to be on my path back home, helping out where I can with SMU football and continue to pour back in my community and people that help me.
Man, your response leads right into this next question, which is how do you fight comparison in today's sports culture?
I think it's one of those things where, it's not easy for everybody, but it's one of those things where your time is coming, kind of going back to just, I think our generation, we get everything so fast, information, you can DoorDash some food, you get everything so fast where you might not have the biggest paying job where, your friend just finished law school and now they're about to be making six figures, or your friend is about to be a nurse making close to 90, and you're in inside sales and your base is somewhere around 30, 40. So it's,
Right.
one of those things where you can't get caught up in the hype, and knowing just, if you continue to follow God's plan, that your time will come. And, at the end of the day, I picked my major for a reason. Basically, I want to do something I enjoyed, not just for money. So at the end of the day, where if I wake up and I'm enjoy going to work, even in sports, where it's, start with on August 6th, we start fall camp. Probably going to be here Monday through Sunday at 7 a.m. and some days not leaving until 9 p.m. or even later. But knowing that something that people always said, and even my managers with the Sixers and New Jersey Devils, that it's a lot of people that would do your job for free. So you got to be grateful with the opportunity that you have, because, if you are ungrateful, you can lose yourself or even lose that position, or, I think they can see that as well. And if you're in an ungrateful position, I think they're quick to, let you know, like, hey, I don't think you fit this culture anymore. We're going to let you go. So, it's kind of hard. You really need to try not to compare yourself to anybody and just stick to your path, and, congratulate the people that are close to you, that they are striving and getting these big things done and continue to move forward, because just to know that you're showing gratitude that, your time's going to come one day.
Oh yeah, it definitely does, and it's always good to cheer while you're still in that process, and that process is meant for you. So that's good that you have that mindset, man. A lot of more people could benefit from that, and they find a lot more peace. What does compete for God's glory look like for you?
I think what it means to compete for God's glory is to continue to show why I'm worthy to kind of be picked by him. I wouldn't say that I want to compete next to the next person, like, hey, I'm doing this better than you, and I'm doing this better than you, and I'm a better Christian than you. I don't think it's that. I think everybody has a competition in their own way, and I think a lot of times it's within themselves of how can you be better, so he can notice it and know that you're striving to be better. So I think when it comes to that, it's just knowing that internally that you have to find ways to strengthen your faith and throughout your everyday life to continue to find yourself so you can continue to compete for his glory.
That's really good, man. Really good. What encouragement would you give an athlete chasing both excellence and Christ?
I would definitely say that it's okay. You're not going to be perfect. You're going to have mishaps. You're going to mess up. You're not going to be perfect all the time. And that's the main thing I would say. I don't think he expects us to be perfect. So I would say more so if you make a mistake, just try your best not to, repeat it again before a mistake becomes, your nature in a sense, because you do it more and more, that becomes who you are. Like, it's not a mistake anymore. That's just who you naturally are. That's the habits. Mistakes become habits. So just knowing when it comes to, strive to be excellent, but just know that it's okay to mess up and fail, because knowing that if you're following Christ, that he's going to watch over, because nobody's perfect. I don't think anybody should try to be perfect. Be okay with, the mishaps and, your flaws. Just continue to strengthen them and, continue to move forward.
That's good, man. Really good. We're getting close to the end of the interview. This round of question is going to be like rapid fire. So take maybe like 3 to 5 seconds to kind of answer them, and then we'll start wrapping it up. All right, here we go. What's your favorite Bible verse?
Luke 12:48. To whom much is given, much is required. Heard that from my principal.
That's really good. Favorite worship song?
Never Could Made It by Marvin Sapp.
Okay. Dream teammate?
Dream teammate? George Pickens.
George Pickens, okay. One word that describes your walk with Christ?
Determined.
One word God has been teaching you lately?
Patience.
Finish this sentence. Being crowned means?
Being crowned means, let's see, that's a good one. I would say being crowned means worthy.
That's really good, man. You would be surprised. And actually, I'm surprised that I've done maybe 4 or 5 of these interviews so far, and every word that they say God is teaching them is patience. Every
it's
word.
True. It's true. I think
Man,
that's something we always gonna have to just continue to learn. I don't think it gets any easier as you get older. So I think that's one thing you can always, especially in the sports industry, that you have to have patience for sure.
you definitely do, man. It takes a while to get to where you're trying to get to. And then, like you said earlier, our generation, man, and you just actually made me think about that. We are used to kind of getting things like this, that when it's time to slow down, it's like it's foreign and
Mhm.
it's hard. It's like, man, I was just moving like this. Now you're telling me to stop. But you know, in my own journey, I'm learning that in that time, I'm learning a lot of things that I need so that when it is my time, I'll be ready. Man, did you have anything else that you wanted to say, man? I appreciate you again taking time out of your day to come and share your story, man. You had a lot of good things to say.
Nah, I just appreciate you for reaching out to me. Glad I got to tell a little bit more about my story, not just the sports industry, but kind of my walk with Christ as well, as I continue to build that and continue to improve. I think that's a never ever stopping journey as well when it comes to growing to yourself and Christ. That's something that's never going to stop. So I don't think that's something where, it has a pause. You continue to get better every day with both sides.
808.